Hey all, Zook here for, was this part 7 of the All Bosses No Damage Guide. This video we're going to go through No Man's Wharf and take down the Flexile Sentry, and also run through Lost Bastille and take out the Ruined Sentinels. Now the route through Wharf that we're going to take is pretty much the exact same as what you would do in a normal no-hit run. The only real difference is I don't bother to kill the Varangian that is on the boardwalk. So I'm going to start this up here in just a second. And make sure that I got my staff equipped, make sure that I don't accidentally waste any fire arrows, and kill this guy down here. The archer trying to shoot me, and then the guy hanging off the edge. And then killed this archer and the dog underneath him. And then we'll come back. It's at this point that I'm going to switch out the staff and make sure that I have the witch tree branch. And the branch is going to be in my right hand so that it doesn't accidentally put out the torch when I try to use it. I will have the alluring skulls ready. And fall control is also equipped because that's what I'm going to use to make sure that I don't take damage on the drop to Gavlins. So now I'm going to start running through the area, cast fall control as I hit the second to last pillar. And then I actually should have used 3 alluring skulls instead of the 2 that you see me use. I should have used one now. I used that first one a little bit late. Pick up the dark pine resin. I should have used another one right now. After you pick up the dark pine resin, throw a second one. And then you throw this third one on the stairs. And at the top of the stairs, stop for, well, don't be sprinting for a second as you turn to run that next path. If you cut that corner too tight, the dog will lock onto you later than it normally would, which means that it's close enough that it will actually lunge and hit you. And the nice thing about using this method with fall control instead of the silver cat ring is that if you accidentally miss Gavlan's ledge, you aren't going to die from the fall damage if you drop too far down. But now we are going to take out the bow since we don't need the torch anymore. Shoot that one Varangian right there. And buy the poison arrows from Gavlan, sell some stuff to him. And then we're just gonna head out onto that ledge and ring the bell after shooting down the 3 Varangian soldiers. One thing that I will mention as you're watching me sell stuff and kill these archers, if you do accidentally drop all the way down to the bottom level and you can't just walk into Gavlin's house, it's actually not a big deal. If you just go into the bottom floor of the building like we're going to anyways to grab a large Titanite shard, just walking into that bottom floor of the apartment complex and then going carefully up to the middle level. The Varangian that's on the middle level, so like the level right underneath Gavlin, that Varangian doesn't actually aggro until you're like farther up the steps than what you can shoot from, if that makes sense. So basically you can be like on the steps and you can shoot the Varangian without him aggroing as long as you don't go too far up. So if you do need to troubleshoot that, that should be fine. The one thing that would affect is that when you go to shoot this Gower assassin, if the door is open, then it's going to be a lot more dangerous because he can actually come up the steps at you. But if the door is not open yet, then, I mean, you're perfect to just kind of shoot him from far away. He can't get you. His AI is stuck. So I cast fall control again, drop down to the bottom floor, to the ground floor of this apartment complex. And open up this secret wall. And then there's a couple fire bombs, which you're going to want. And also the large titanite shard here. So I say that you want the fire bombs mostly for just in case you mess up the what do you call it? The switch in Shulva. But also just for if you're doing the skeletons, fire bombs are nice to have. And I mean, there are a few spots where like you can actually use bombs to make it a little bit easier. So after you kill that second Gower assassin, just make sure that you don't accidentally aggro the Dark Dweller that's down underneath. But use a iron ammo, whether that's a bolt or a bow arrow. Break those 2 poison urns. Kill this guy with a rapier. And then we're picking up some items. We got a flame butterfly here. And then we break this breakable wall. And get the crystal lizard, which has a large titanite shard. And then open up this chest for a fragrant branch. This extra fragrant branch is going to let us free up Strayed at the very end of the video. So you do want to pick this one up. And then we're just heading down to Corellian. And I actually messed this up a little bit. So I kill these guys. And yep, kill this guy. And then when I go talk to Corellian, I forget to buy spells from him, so I'm eventually going to have to make a return trip to Majula. That is kind of unnecessary, because at this point you can buy the 2 spells that you want from him. You're going to want to buy Yearn and Shockwave, which again, you'll see me go back to Majula after I kill the Sentry to get those spells. But from here, we are just running over to Sentry. Notice that I equipped the Dung Pies earlier. The Dung Pies are going to poison Sentry, making this fight just a little bit easier, a little bit quicker, so that you don't have to worry about the water building up. And what you should do, instead of running to the side like I do, you should throw a Dung Pie before he starts to wind up. Because I threw them a little bit too late, it counted as kind of like a ranged attack. So every ranged attack resets the Sentry's AI so that the sword guy will be facing you. Luckily, if you get him stuck on the post like I did, you actually can kind of manipulate the AI so that the mace guy will re-aggro on you. But with the poison ticking down, it's like 6 rapier hits. And if you want the pyromancy flame, head on out of the gray exit fog and head up the ladder, grab the pyromancy flame. If you also want some common fruit, if you do a different poison strategy to make sure that you don't get poisoned in Harvest Valley, you can grab 2 common fruit over by the exile holding cells. But I don't need either of those items, so I just bone out. And then again, if you had bought the sorceries, you could have just gone straight to the Tower Apart bonfire in Lost Bastille. Instead, I'm going to buy Yearn and Shockwave. And then I go to the Bastille bonfire. Just trying to keep my souls at trying to keep my stats at the same level as you normally would be if you traveled straight to Lost Bastille. So I'm not going to level up even though I could. And then you're just going to kind of do a combination of cast Yearn to distract the jailers, and then poke them with the rapier a few times. 3 R1s and 1 R2 should get that job done. But come over here and head up above Lucatiel. Equip the fire arrows, and since we're going to be going straight to ruin sentinels from here without resetting the area, you can also explode one of the gunpowder barrels over by those 2 soldiers. And then I shoot just a bit too early. You should be able to see that jailer's feet and then wait like just a little tick after the after you see the jailer's feet, and that should knock him off the edge normally. Now from here, I'm going to shoot these swordsmen from safety. And then I cast fall control. Well, try to cast fall control. Now I cast fall control. And I cast fall control there just because while I could go down the ladder right there, the problem with going down the ladder is that, or at least the problem with not casting fall control, I should say, is that if I do get the Forlorn invasion, then I want fall control to let me get down from there quickly without using the ladder. I mean, you could also accomplish the same thing by equipping the Silver Cat ring. But however you choose to do it, if the Forlorn invades, you're going to want some sort of fall mitigation active. So I cast the fall control before coming down here. Soon as I get the gold pine resin, that's by that point, if the Forlorn hasn't invaded, then I should be good. So then I just kill that jailer and the dogs. And again, I do want to kill both of the dogs here, just because I'm not resting at the bonfire. I don't want to reset the area. That would be counterproductive. But I grab all of the large Titanite shards and regular shards and all of the iron ammo. And then when you do talk to Macduff, hopefully you had grabbed the Ember already from the Tower Apart back when we first got that bonfire. And we're going to go ahead and buy mainly just some ammo and some upgrade materials. Once you are here, you can buy 350 iron arrows and 100 heavy bolts. As you've noticed, I overbuy on arrows. I've run out of arrows too much when I'm routing all this stuff that I just overbuy all that. And I'm going to upgrade the rapier at this point as much as I can. And I also upgrade the short bow to +5. Or actually, it might have even been to +6. But anyways, you are going to want some extra large Titanite shards for upgrading the Hunter's Black Bow. So it might actually be worth buying 4 large Titanite shards and then still just upgrading upgrading the bow to +5, saving those 3 shards because we should be picking up 3 other large Titanite shards if I remember correctly. Should be picking up 3 other large Titanite shards before we would need to upgrade the black bow, which just kind of makes that a little bit easier for eventually going through Huntsman's Copse. But as you'll see here, I cast Fall Control and Yearn to distract the swordsman. Kill that swordsman, grab this 2k soul and some effigies. If you didn't grab effigies at the Dragon Slayer, then you're going to want to grab them here. And then my strategy for Ruin Sentinels is to use a Bright Bug and a Gold Pine Resin, since they are weak to lightning. I also want to cast Fall Control recast fall control so that in case I accidentally fall off, I don't want to take damage from that. And then we're good to go. I also have the bow equipped in the offhand slot, if you didn't notice that. That's because after I kill this first one, what's his name, Yahim? After I kill him, I want to come over here and shoot Reese. Nope, Alicia? Huh. For some reason I thought that Reese was the first one. But kill Alicia. And I actually mess up here. I thought that I could strafe this. You can't strafe that, apparently. And then if I hadn't gotten smushed, then I would have been able to shoot Reese with like 2 or 3 arrows probably. But Bright Bug's still holding up. Gold Pine Resin still holding up. And then we're just kind of go in and punish. If you do happen to fall down, just watch out for their spin to win attack. But now at this point, fall control is still active, but just in case, I always cast fall control again anytime that I'm about to make a drop, unless it's like right after I just cast it, as I tend to be paranoid about it running out, even though, I mean, it lasts for like 90 seconds or something like that, so lasted pretty decently long time. But then we're going to come up here, we're going to grab Hush, which will help us in the second DLC. That's pretty much the area where you want Hush for, but just for that one area, it is worth grabbing it here. And then I do come over here, and normally I grab this Rouge Water just because normally I don't have 2 Twilight Herbs that drop from Moonlight Butterflies. So I figure that's kind of my safety spell refill. Well, one of the 2 safety spell refills. But I'm going to just kind of come over here, grab the Servant Quarter Bonfire. I rest at it because I do want to recharge my urine spells. And then you're just kind of running through this area like I do. I'm going to cast Urine here as I go to grab the Bastille Key. Cast Urine because you got this swordsman coming up hot behind you. And then we're going to run up here. I am going to poke this one Babam guy, just because he will get up as you get close to him. Pull the lever, and what I actually should have made sure was I should have re-equipped the bow into the main hand and put the staff on the offhand, just because you're going to want to use the bow to shoot those 2 guys, but then the rest you should be able to just distract with Urine since you have 3 casts left over. If not, I mean, you can shoot these guys and should be fine. But come up here, go ahead and unfreeze Strayed. And once you've unlocked Strayed, you can rest and talk to him. From him, you're going to want to buy the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring. It's something that you aren't going to want to try to do anything with the Skeleton Lords until after you have the Lingering Dragon Crest. And I mean, it just makes some of these areas quite a bit easier, knowing that your urine lasts another couple seconds longer. If you need Dark Fog, he does have a Dark Fog cast here. So especially if you need a second casting of Dark Fog, I'm not sure where you would need that. Maybe for like Aldia or something, but he's got one if you want it. And yeah, that's with that. We are going to be on to bosses 10 and 11. There'll be the Lost Sinner and the Duke's Dear Freya in the next video. So I will catch you in the next one.